Hello everybody, welcome back to Language, Litigation, and Integration, another episode of Casual Conversation. So as always, my name is Brad, my constitutional rights are violated. Article 1, Section 8, Clause 8 of the United States Constitution gives you a right to your writings and discoveries. You can see on this channel, From Rhythm to Algorithm is the bulk of my derivation. I'm a mathematician, physicist. I'm a first principle scientist, meaning you've never met somebody before that's demonstrated a complete mathematical proof. Mathematics is a thing that you can complete. My research extends profoundly past just what is identified as mathematics. More to being, I've demonstrated the entirety of logical structure. Iterating language, right? Our logical structure is language. And shown, again, an amount of research that is consequential to every bit of scientific research anywhere. So very legitimately, any academic university, anything at the tertiary school or higher, like a college, university, somebody issuing a degree is committing crime. Fraud, racketeering, conspiracy, so on and so forth. And so I've covered that a bunch. I say it at the beginning of every video because it's true. I mean, it's dominated my life. It's destroyed my life. The science and the research that I've developed directly is as direct as it can be to classified technology and information. And so if you've never heard of me, I've even had somebody say to the effect of my personal life, like, well, why would the science be classified, right? Like the actual theory. And again, this isn't theory, it's a mathematical proof. Not going through the science here. Point being is it's not. You can literally sit here right here on this channel and watch it. It's a derivation of everything, literally. So you're welcome to check that out, but point being is I don't need to convince you of that. That's a great lesson in law. The Constitution doesn't say you have a right to your writings and discoveries if Johnny believes you, or if your mom believes you, or if your dad believes you, or if that guy over there believes you. I've demonstrated, again, proofing, lecturing, presentation, what you would do to get a PhD 1,000 times over plus squared minus 100 million. And so the value of what I have done is undeniable. It's, like I said, it's too comprehensive. It's literally if you said, hey Johnny, can you derive an entire math book? And then you said, wait a second, you don't even know the right math book, and then you derive the whole thing correctly. Every page has theorems and proofs and so on and so forth. It's that comprehensive. It's not one paper, it's a body of research. And then on top of that, you can see the other things I've done on this channel. Music. I ran a bar and a restaurant, which I lost $50,000 on because of crime. CBD enriched alcohol, which I currently, again, at the beginning January, I think January 1st or something, right around the beginning of the year, I sent a letter to my alcohol partners, Marty Magid and Robert Hemphill, a lawyer out of Florida. And I said, I have no respect for Marty Magid. This guy is like a sports agent guy, but my entire interaction with him, I know him personally, has been like, I'm the big business guy, you're the wannabe entrepreneur, and if things line up, you can use me and we can go together. This arrogance level of bullshit that I just can't tolerate. But I don't have rights. I have to try to do anything that will get me money, truly. And so I sent them a note saying something to the effect of, what the fuck have you guys done? Like literally, I don't want to hear from Marty, Bob, Robert, you're a lawyer. I want some sort of formal response. What have you done? Because to me at this point, my rights are clearly violated. Right? These people have kids. What is everyone teaching their children? To my alcohol partners, I say, again, my rights are violated. Here's my property. What are you guys doing? Because to me, this is gross negligence at the point where you would file a complaint against the bar. And it's been this way for years. I don't have legal avenues. If you're watching this, if someone broke into your house, you would call the cops, right? Hey, Johnny stole all of my shit. Then what do you do if the cops say, go fuck yourself? And you're sitting there, you're all unsettled, you're all emotionally riled up, and the cops tell you, oh, we don't care if someone steals all of your shit. We're just going to let that happen. And then you just kind of sit there and you're like, I don't know what to do. And you do that for like 6 months. And then you just realize it's never going to stop happening. Each day shows up, somebody else breaks into your house, you call the cops, and they don't give a flying fuck. That's my actual life. And if I go into Sears and I steal $1,200 worth of power tools, I can and should get a felony right now today for stealing. But if somebody steals $12 million of contractually owed money, restricts your credentials being validated publicly, which means it destroys your entire income potential for your entire life. I'm sitting here in my parents' basement without constitutional rights, plain as day, and nobody has the morality or the legal lawyers, law enforcement have legal obligation to do something, won't do anything. And it's been that way for years upon years upon years upon years, to the point where I am just trying to stabilize my life enough to do some work. And so I had a couple stories I wanted to get into. I guess we might as well just start on the alcohol one. And I send him this email and no response. And so this is, to me, this entire interaction has been under duress. My entire contractual interaction with them has been under duress, meaning I'm deprived of my rights. Right? I don't need to raise money for a business that I should have enough funding for privately myself because I've earned it. And it's the law and that shit. And so for me, that is where this conversation has ended for a long time. Very clearly to the secret science team, to the people that have destroyed my life, you know all of this. To the average person watching on YouTube, you have no idea what I'm talking about. And to my parents, they still don't like get it, but it's past that. They just, we'll get to it. There's more stories and fun. But for the alcohol people, no response. There's just been nothing back to me. And this is Robert Hemphill. He's a lawyer out of Florida. Marty Magid is some sort of, I don't know, sports agent out of Philadelphia. But regardless, that is going on. And it's just like, awesome, fantastic. Here in the American dream where you can start a business, you can't. Where you can report crime, you can't. Where you can seek legal and financial remedy through the court system and through, the law structure, you can't. And so that is the primary function of this interaction, of this lecture series. I've literally sat down. You can look up a video. It's called Boas versus Higher Education RICO Complaint, because this has been going on for so effing long. And so that's just always true. And so my headspace is, I'm sitting here, right? I've faced multiple sequences of grave bodily harm. I have had the biggest one being liver failure, which was later diagnosed as hepatitis, but in reality, I have synesthesia, and I'm a savant. And like any normal person, if you get disenfranchised, right, if you don't have a stable place to live, specifically, if you look at my channel, I was living at a house, I owned a house in full, I still have to pay property taxes. This entire country was founded on no taxation without representation. My rights are violated. Again, re-emphasizing it's to a point where I know law enforcement knows that I know they know, and it's just this posturing game of go fuck yourself. So I'm over here trying to carve out a life. But my reality, my universe is that I have zero friends, not in an emotional, I need to talk to somebody type of way, but I have no way to like leverage into society. Again, we've covered James Ryan, a lawyer that I grew up around here, a partner at a major firm right now today, comes up to me in person and says, at first watch, umpteen years ago, I don't know, 6, 7 years ago, clearly knowing what I have done mathematically, scientifically, and says, you contact me when you want to raise a lot of money. Again, James Ryan, I do not want to raise money. The thing that you talked about my entire life that I heard in my childhood, the Constitution, that thing's supposed to be real. And that gives me rights to my writings and my discoveries, and that's worth money. You know how Peter goes into the job to be an engineer and he does some work and he gets some money for it? Well, I have property that's worth money. And so I just want my money so I can run my business and live my life, and I don't have to give my money to you, James. But regardless, that's the level of morality and quality that I'm exposed to here in Columbus, Ohio. So I've been raised around this my whole life. But point being is I don't have rights. I'm deprived of my rights. I have this house, and I can't function. I am deprived of my rights in such a profound way. Again, as you can hear the dog barking, I don't have a place to work, and I never have. I have never in my life had basic physical stability to eat properly, to sleep properly, and to work. And everybody else around me lives in an environment where their biggest stress is if the Buckeyes are going to win the football game, or if their favorite sports team is going to win the Super Bowl, so on and so forth. Look at society, it is profoundly privileged. Even the people that are the have-nots, quote unquote, or whatever, they have the opportunity. If someone wrongs them, commits crimes against them, our law enforcement's demonstrably fraudulent, demonstrably corrupt, but it's just a free-for-all. Sometimes the law can work for you, sometimes it won't work for you, sometimes you'll say stuff that will matter, sometimes it won't. It's just groups of people, the practical real world that you live in is groups of people, and if they decide you don't deserve rights, you don't deserve your property, you don't deserve whatever, you just don't have it. And then people will sit there and say, the American dream, law and order, 10 times out of 10, and it's a joke. I mean, it just doesn't exist. And so my headspace on a personal level is that's going on. I have done everything you could possibly do, try to start business in a private life completely outside of my rights being violated, which is so profound. The reason you pay taxes, the reason anybody watching this, If you have some sort of assurance, when you put your money in a bank and it's secured up into $250,000, that's because of a law. When you drive down the street and you can only go 45 miles an hour, that's because of the law. When you see a guy in a police car driving past you and you know he has a gun and he can arrest you and enforce the law on you, that's because of the law. And so every structure you have in your day is because the law exists. And that is what has been taken from me. The whole thing. Every bit of it. And I live in an environment where no one cares. Right? I have a barking dog and I can't even speak properly because I'm the most accomplished scientist, the most mature person on this planet, and I cannot speak about the law. I cannot speak about science, and it's killing profound amounts of people. So like, I'm trying to focus, the dog is barking, and I can't, this is a time where I would scream, but I'm at my parents' house, and if I scream, that makes me crazy. Again, it's not the fact that I've been deprived of my rights. It's not the fact that I've been brutally tortured my entire life. It's not the fact that I don't have a place to work. Right? My mom's upstairs. She works from home. She gets paid money. I do the same thing. I get paid no money. I have no ability to work. I don't have a structure. I don't have consistent internet connection. Like, I don't know if it's Spectrum. The amount of data my parents use is next to zero. And so, but just the upload speed never works. And so I don't have any way to work. And that is all I am trying to do. I have given up on any expectation that I might have a career, a family, or access to any bit of society. Everybody knows that that isn't my mom, apparently. But that is my universe. And since then, I have never gotten out of that abuse structure. I made a whole video called Normalizing Abuse. And so I have this conversation with my mom the other day. And again, every single day I wake up, I just turn on the news and this entire world is going past me and I don't get to live in it. And it's all illegal and there's tens of thousands of people that could change that with one choice, one time. And so I'm never in a good mood in the sense that I'm like, oh yeah, life is fucking working. But I'm also never in a bad mood where it's like I'm running around all day, all pissed off, all angry. I'm doing the best I can with this carnival shit going on. But lovely Mother Dearest refuses to accept that is real. And so I'm just like, life sucks. Why isn't James Ryan doing his job? Why isn't Michael DeWine doing his job? Why aren't any of these law enforcement people doing their jobs? But again, my reputation has been destroyed in a way where I always sound like a kid to my parents. And they are always my parents. But again, the Constitution doesn't say, if mom and dad approves, you get constitutional rights. And so I'm in this situation where taking away my rights is as severe as an action as you can do. But I'm such a practical person, again, which in the spring I might just go sit down at OSU again. I don't know. I mean, I have to get the fuck out of here. And that is my headspace. I am always in this dynamic of I'm just trying to work. Some event happens of me existing. My parents, specifically my mom, does not understand that, kind of like willful ignorance. How can you offer $500,000 of notarized funds and saying, I want to do anything that I've demonstrated my skills? Look at my YouTube channel. I mean, besides literally visual arts, architecture, drawing, I have effectively done everything. And so it's in this, she kind of presents to me in a way where it's she wants, I need day-to-day interaction with other people. She's like, well, maybe you should get something the exact verbiage. Again, it's always when it comes to money, I can't tell her. My mom, again, does not even look at the stock tickers in her portfolio. She just says, I have job, child does not have job, maybe some aspect of she kind of gets that I don't need money because again, if I'm just sitting here right now, I am making $30,000 to $60,000 and I am a disenfranchised grad student. That's the worst case scenario of which I could perceive my parents seeing as my life. Because I am making my own money, it's small, but the whole point is I don't have rights. And it is so apparently obvious. Billboards, real money. Again, who else out there is offering $500,000 contractually notarized funds to get a job? To get into the labor force. I cannot do that. And so for the past 3 years, I've just given up in the sense of there's nothing I can do. Not giving up in the sense of, I submitted an application and getting a job is difficult. And the fact that that is even in my mind is so profoundly historically disrespectful that there's no words to describe it. But we don't live in a society. And I've emphasized this again and again. There are no morals, not as a statement as Brad being emotional, but just observing behavior and just people just get to where they want to go. They get the bare minimum and they can say, fuck you to the next guy and they do it. And then they say, why is everybody a hypocrite? They will say please and thank you. They will smile and wave. And then they will just fester and fuck around and try to get one foot in front of the next person. And so that's my headspace. I am just trying to work. And truly, like the dog barking, not having stable internet connection, is just like, why can't we fix that? I literally live in a house, I kid you not. My parents had AT&T, and then the price went up like $20. Again, a dollar figure that is categorically irrelevant to my parents' portfolio, money management. They don't know how to manage money. They don't manage their own money. They feel like they're getting wronged. That price shouldn't go up. Boomer shit. And so what do? They get another internet. They don't pay for a higher data rate. Or so they had AT&T, then they go to T-Mobile. T-Mobile's structure, so it's a third-party consignment with Verizon. And so you just have these data times where like the data just kind of like shuts off briefly, or you have some interruptions, but that's part of the pricing model where you get a lower price. It's like if it's off peak hours, you get the infrastructure that Verizon's built at the T-Mobile price, or AT&T, or T-Mobile price. Point being is they switch their internet to like save $20, which I can't even begin to emphasize how irrelevant that amount of money is to them. And it's this, the price went up and it shouldn't have gone up because I'm a boomer, truly, mentality. So again, what do? They switch to the T-Mobile, then my mom works from home, and so she gets dropped off of a business meeting. And so now we don't have an stable internet connection, so my mom gets an internet connection. We're sitting here in a household with 2 routers, 2 modems, because we had to save that $20, and then now we don't have basic functionality, right? I bought a kitchen thermometer for my parents, for myself, but right? The reason you heat up food is to kill bacteria, and then past that, it's to whatever texture you like to eat your food at. And so meaning whatever food you have, you heat it up to 160 to kill the bacteria, you stick your thermometer in there, you're good to go. And they won't use the thermometer. And so it's just like functional things, not should I wear a blue shirt, should I wear a red shirt, but just behaviors that make no sense. But it's not my house for the most part. I mean, I never comment, but I don't care. I objectively don't care. The internet shit bothers me just because I can't upload my work consistently, but then the actual internet usage, I don't even know what throws that. Because it's not when, again, the hours my mom works and when this data goes in and out is just not even remotely relevant. It's only ever on the upload speed, not the download speed. So it's not the overall connection. And then you call Spectrum and you get, as somebody who's derived all of physics, like I have pretty good troubleshooting skills. Like what could cause this problem is not apparent to me. And so I don't know. Point being is just like, I'm just kind of like the biggest frustration to me at this point is truly not having, again, that's the whole thing, besides my entire life being destroyed because my rights are violated, if I do not try to carve out a sense of normalcy within that abuse, which is reality. I live in the real world. This idea that I can go apply and get a job or, like the private industry is not infiltrated with the people saying that I'm not allowed to interact with anybody is demonstrably not true. And so point being is I'm just trying to work. Like I'm not like, I have history with my parents, obviously, but I'm not mad, I'm not angry. I'm just trying to go through my day, and it's still just so cumbersome as fuck. And so we're sitting here again with this conversation where it's like she's like almost like once like it stimulates is not about money. It's about like interacting with people. I've reached fundamental enlightenment. I've derived everything multiple times. If it's not a wife or some sort of like personal relationship, there was no human interaction I want, like at all. But it's just the 60% willful ignorance of my mother not like accepting that I don't have anything I can do. Again, she's approached, or like she plays pickleball, and one of them person in there was a mathematician from Denison or Ohio Wesleyan or something. And she's like, maybe I can submit your things, and it's just like, it's so fucking degrading. Because it's 60% willful ignorance. I'm mom, and I'm not satisfied with your financial thing, so I'm gonna insert insecurity into your life, willfully ignorant that there's objectively nothing you can do, and just watch us squirm around. It's been my whole life. My whole life's been that. And it's not funny. It's not ha ha ha. It's not in 50 years we say, oh look, there's that smart guy still having to deal with his bomb. It's like, I want to have a real relationship with my mother. I really don't, and it's because of you people. You refusal to acknowledge my research, your refusal to, again, give me some money behind closed doors, so these interactions simply don't occur. But regardless, it genuinely comes on like She kind of wants to help me, she thinks interacting with people is what I want, but it isn't. It's the removal of my rights. That is what causes me any sort of what would perceived as anger, be perceived as resentment, is being tortured. But regard that, within that, I can still carve out some sense of normalcy. And then that's going on. If I could just have this assurance, again, that I'm not going to get a letter from the fucking IRS for taxes I don't owe because I sold a house this year. Or again, it's Bitcoin transactions from previous or from last year. Again, I can put all of my money on an index fund. I could literally pay myself $60,000. Right now I'm paying myself $30,000. I could double my own salary myself, right? And the biggest risk is, capital depreciation for 18 months, which is irrelevant. I've been deprived of my rights for 33 years. And so I'm also at the end of this journey where I know the academic community is profoundly where there is nothing else going on in terms of theoretical development. Nothing. It's done. And over here, mom's like, work on your resume, which still brings me to the point of, okay, look at my YouTube channel. Someone has a job opening, and it's like I'm at a labor qualification where people would recruit me. I am not going to go try to find and do the job hiring process. I am demonstrably the most accomplished researcher and scientific mind that's ever existed. If you don't want to give me a job, you're fucking retarded. But the point being is with all this going on, I would be open to a real position to do something. But to get that position, then I'm right back in this world where there's just a fucking brick wall. A brick wall past what a brick wall could possibly be. And so that is truly my headspace, just trying to work. My mom not understanding that the world, its security, intelligence apparatus is literally kicked me out of society. And then I just flop around because there's no resolution to that. And so we have that, again, a conversation where it's just I'm just angry, I don't have rights. She's genuinely kind of wanting to help, 60% wanting to be like, what's your money situation? Which is still, again, I'm a disenfranchised grad student, paying myself 50 grand a year, 30 grand a year. What difference does it make? Because on a personal lifestyle thing, if I don't make a real lifestyle change, the dollar figure is irrelevant. I live on $400 a month. And so it's just this constant re-injection of insecurity. Again, I'm 33 years old. Shout out to Tim Dune, man. Remember when we said we don't need to talk about this anymore? I'm glad you're a doctor, and for however long your licensures last, because that's fraudulent, and I'm suing you, and you're a criminal, and fuck you. But yeah, man, my life hasn't changed. Not 1 minute of one day of my life has changed to any extent at all. 99% of crime committed by the people that enforce the law, literally, and then a personal family that's been destroyed, again, a relationship with my parents' family that's been absolutely categorically destroyed. And I'm just trying to make the best of whatever fucking life this life is, and it's terrible. It's disgusting, it's awful. And so that's going on. I guess I was going to do current events, but I guess we'll just make this a whole story episode. And so, but I love my parents, in action. That's not a sentimental, I'm profoundly aware of what our interaction's been throughout my life. Again, I can feel people's thoughts. And when I have your background, I can understand what you're feeling, literally feel it through you, and then describe that experience more precisely and accurately than you can. And so that's where you get to the level of you're proving people their own behavior to them at such a subjective personal level where it's shocking. And so this ontological shock that you guys have now said behind closed doors, and it's permeated through all of people's behavior, has been happening to me my entire life. And so you have, one of the talking points was this Catherine O'Hara, this actress passes away, and Macaulay Culkin's mom. And he leaves this comment, and you can see the sentiment ripple. People going oh, at this moment, where he leaves some comment, posted a tribute to his mom to the effect of, sorry, mama, I thought we had time, I wanted to sit in a chair next to you, see you when I see you, I'll see you next time, see you around. And so, and then, the society kind of has this, sentiment response to it. It's two accomplished actors, actresses, two people, reflecting on life, sitting on a rocking chair when you're older in life, reflecting with your parents. So I just want to, again, document this is, because that day is going to be me someday. And that day ain't that far. Yeah, guys. This is what I deserve. This is what science gets you. This is what thinking gets you. This is what caring about the world around you gets you. No family, no friends. Tortured against your rights. My dad has late stage cancer. He's doing good for now, but that shit can change in 2 seconds. And they don't understand me. So thank you to academia. You guys worked hard, right? You guys do mathematics, you do science. You're out there contributing to the world. This is what you've contributed to the world. The tears pass, the sadness passes, then we're right back at the law. The people that have done this to me must face the pinnacle of crime. I'm even at the done with the point where I'm even referencing political people and people in positions of power currently, because you guys have no authority in comparison to me. None. Like, I have contributed more to this world than anybody could. And so, practically, you guys just have this structure where you can do whatever you want. That will change, and you will be punished. And you will be punished with the severity and ferocity you've never fucking seen. Because you guys are stealing from me, right? I own education. I am, like, literally the language results that I've produced, the logical structure, is the foundation for this whole, past the species. I mean, sentience, a species is a section of sentience, right? Earthlings. And Earthlings is really solar system frenzies. I rank everybody there. All of your little underground bullshit. I don't get a relationship with my parents' family, which truly, I'm really not that sentimental. I'm glad I did catch me getting upset on camera. Because this is documentation. I mean, this is a legal lecture series. I sit down here to do this. Because, like I said, illness can change in a blink of an eye. Anything. I mean, life can happen in a million different ways, and you never see that person again. Frankly, I'm aware enough where it's like, you're going to see them again. But to be sitting here and being exposed to this shit, again, anybody aware of my work, you have failed at a level of humanity and morality that you don't qualify as a person to me, or in any objective sense in the future. So all those people out there being great and chasing, jockeying for position in the big career world, again, this job that I can't have, I'm glad that dollar figure is worth more than human relationships. Because when we all die, none of your fucking dollars matter. None of that shit matters. The way you treated other people matters. And this is how you treated me, and I'm glad the entirety of future gets to see this shit. This is what people have done to the person that solved everything. Because then back to the legalities, you guys can't open your mouths without committing crimes. You can't. It's not possible. And additionally, to the actual dissemination of physics, it is what it is. You can only, as you've been doing for the past 10 years, steal my shit, not be able to articulate it properly, and then fuck it all up. And that's the fun part. So back to Sean Carroll. Remember, buddy, when you went out on your little hike to see? What I was sending you was those theorems, those things that were sitting on the screen on all of these videos, all of that logic where now I can show you in these lectures in the live derivation, all of the things that I'm bumping up against, all the things I don't know for certain. Again, the language contains all of that reasoning process. And so you guys saw the final result and were like, let's go on a hike and see if we can talk about it. What'd you guys find? What'd you guys find? Oh, another 8 years of my life taken. I mean, this is literally a decade. 2016 was when this shit was like done. At least December of 2016. But again, the dog keeps barking. No one cares. I have no rights, no nothing. And it's never going to change. And so I did have a couple more stories, but I'm documenting crime, and that's my headspace. It's like, I really am not, like, it's like anybody else. I mean, never have been, like, afraid to cry. Never, I've always seen as, like, people having, like, a emotional, like, a character response to crying in any way is, like, why is, like, a thing to you? Like, cry, don't cry, blah, 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 blah. The point being is like, throughout my day, it's like the way I talk to myself on my little hikes, like I still have a camera on me. I know like that's how like I don't really talk to myself much throughout my day when I'm not sitting down to talk to people. And so, but it's reality. It's just, I don't get to have a relationship with my parents' family and the stress, the carnage, and just the baggage and abuse and torture that I've been through my entire life. And there's tens of thousands of people right now that will watch this video, that won't click on a button that says publish, that will violate every law, and then they'll go home, they'll kiss their wife, they'll hug their kids and say, yeah, I'm a good person. No, you're not. You're not. You're just entitled, privileged trash like everybody else that walks around on this planet. So I did have some talking points. This one, not, again, I just the realization that, again, the amount of time that I've lost with my parents and my family. I don't have a family. Like I said, my family would be if I had a wife and I was starting with having kids. My parents' family, that's just how anybody is. But yeah, I don't get any of it. Like I don't get any of it. And it's going to be right back to the same bullshit. I mean, it's always the same bullshit. They don't understand what my life is. But it's more of so of willful ignorance. But that's where my headspace is just trying to work. Because again, there's nothing I can do that hasn't been done to the utmost level of, again, the FBI clearing their belts saying, we know exactly who you are, we're not going to do anything, as if you guys aren't fucking dick fucking sucking nobodies. But anybody that's disseminating my property will be prosecuted. There's no leniency, there's no anything. Each day goes by is just another, again, bloodline just fucking not eradicated. Again, if anytime you see an email that could be perceived as aggressive, is me just trying to assert this statement with the authority of a world figure, not some guy sending a fucking email, right? If somebody said, Donald Trump, again, I have no respect for the presidency of the United States or any president. Again, the intelligence apparatus I interact with is so much more consequential to the world than a given world leader. But point being is if one world leader come onto another world leader and says, we're going to prosecute you with full force. That's kind of the intensity I want to present. Not like I'm some fucking wacko going to go do some violent act. Which, the fact that I've been swatted, any of the law enforcement that I've dealt with on a personal level, I cannot even begin to describe anybody in academia, law enforcement. I mean, you're fucked. You're so fucked. Especially the law enforcement agents that I've dealt with personally. Those three dudes sitting on there. Who are you telling to calm down? Just wait, motherfucker. Just wait, motherfucker. And again, meaning that I'm going to be recognized for negotiating the most important truths in the history of Earth, classified beyond what people knew existed, which, by the way, was still trivial as shit. Like my awareness, I've known these big societal historical implications way more sooner than I can show you syllable by syllable, letter by letter derivation, because it's a physical limit, right? And now you can get this good appreciation when you're a 7-year-old and you've done all of this research, and then nobody will have the attention span to listen, and then you just get tortured indefinitely for the next, still today, so 25 years running, meaning you form memories when you're right around 7, and I'm 32, going on 33. And so the St. Francis de Sales community, the Ohio State community, the families of Central Ohio are failures beyond what anything could be. And so that's just truly my headspace, just trying to work, and then my mom not understanding what my life is. Kind of, again, this willful ignorance of money, 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 money. And it's just disgusting. I mean, if I could sit down and write what life shouldn't be, it's this. It's this amount of fucking bullshit. But regardless, we did have current events. We'll talk about those on a different video. Thank you for watching. See you on the next one.